Well, that can't be the case under the First Amendment. You're allowed to criticize figures like this under our Constitution. President Trump is facing a criminal trial on what are fanciful charges in New York City by the Soros-backed prosecutor Alvin Bragg. He is accused of misdemeanor crimes of falsifying records about a payment, a confidentiality agreement payment that he allegedly made. And what they're trying to do in New York is to bootstrap those misdemeanors to felony charges, that the supposedly misdemeanors become felonies, or felonies are added on because there's somehow that the way those that payment was listed was also a violation of federal election law. Now, if you're wondering why it is a New York City prosecutor thinks he can enforce federal election law and try to jail an incoming president, or not incoming president, major presidential candidate and former president based on that alone, you'd be right to wonder that. And unfortunately, the judiciary up in New York is politicized and anti-Trump and isn't willing to defend his civil rights and curtail this prosecutorial abuse. Now, Judge Merchan, who is the judge in this case, he's been really just generally anti-Trump. He's a in New York, the judges are appointed through the Democratic Party, more or less, certainly in New York City. That's how it works. They're elected, but essentially they need the approval of the Democratic Party to even be on the ticket or to be considered by voters. And once they're put on the ticket, they get the judgeship typically. And in the case of Judge Merchan, there's this additional issue of his adult daughter having been involved as a campaign or some type of, I guess, policy consultant, to put it charitably, but she's working with campaigns as well. And according to news reports, she was making a boatload of money, or her campaign or her firm was, working with political opponents of Trump and specifically doing fundraising based on the fact that he's being prosecuted in her father's court. Conflict of interest. Dem client's a daughter of New York judge in Trump hush money trial raised $93 million off the case. Now, the problem for Judge Merchan is Trump lawyer, and as I say here, Trump's lawyers lay out a powerful case for Judge Merchan to recuse himself from handling the Soros-backed Democratic politician Alvin Bragg's abusive prosecution of Trump over that alleged confidentiality agreement payment. The whole issue further highlights, and this is the outrage, that the gag order prohibiting Trump from now mentioning his daughter is so outrageous, because the judge is constraining a candidate running for president by restricting his defending himself from what looks to be a failure to recuse himself improperly, the judge, and related conduct by his daughter, an adult daughter. I mean, it's not like she's a 10-year-old. We're talking an adult who's probably in her late 20s or early 30s. I forget the exact age. But a political operative. So this is a matter not only of a judicial matter, right? He's asking for his recusal, but it's a political matter. It highlights the political nature of the way the process up in New York has been running. And he has every right under law and under the First Amendment, in my view, to defend himself and talk forthrightly about this. Now, the left, of course, is mischaracterizing it, his comments, knowingly, and Trump's concerns is threatening the judge, as if criticizing a judge or anyone associated with the judge, and in this case, properly so, his daughter, translates into a threat. Well, that can't be the case under the First Amendment. You're allowed to criticize figures like this under our Constitution. But of course, it's new rules, different rules for President Trump, and it's really outrageous. And as of now, Trump will go on trial April 15th. And he's likely to be convicted. It's a New York jury. I mean, it's rigged in many respects. So it's a bad day. We're facing bad days for the rule of law, our Republican form of government. And again, as I've said repeatedly, you know, I know people are concerned about the election, right? And, you know, what happened in 2020 will happen again, and fights about when votes are counted and things like that. I think we have to take a step back even from that. Our elections have already been compromised by this abuse of Trump. The 2024 election has already been compromised because the president has been abused time and time again. His attention and resources, and as we now know in New York, in nearly $200 million for 2 cases alone, just to appeal those cases. So those are resources that could otherwise be deployed for his candidacy. And obviously his time and attention is focused on these threats to his freedom and his livelihood. And that's election rigging. So the election's already been compromised. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like our video down below.